In this video, we're going to write a top menu in XML and then load it into the program. We're going to be using the same process that we used when creating the toolbar and loading it into the program. But instead of writing an XML toolbar, this time we're going to write an XML top menu. Again, it'll be a two-step process. We're going to have to create the top menu XML, and then the next step will be to load it into the program, either at the interface level or at the form level. So the first thing I'll do is find a 4TM that already exists, whether I'm looking in the demo directory or another top menu that I've already written. It's easiest to start with some XML that you can copy and use. So let's add a new file to our project, to our program here, that is of type 4TM. And we're going to call it top menu 1. All right, so now I can copy all of this to my top menu file. And I can close this one out. All right, so the basic structure is very much like the toolbar in that we have a beginning and ending tag identifying the element that we're building. And here we have top menu groups. Within each top menu group is the top menu command. And again, we see the name attribute, which will again be important for binding the command in the top menu to the actual action that's in our program. So if we look at our toolbar again, we can see that we had find, next, previous, and close. And let's just do the same over here. So let's do find, next, previous, and in this one we can add one more. All right, so once we have our basic structure of our top menu groups and the commands within each, we can go ahead and now load this into our program. I can see there's another error here. We need an ending tag, and our next doesn't have an ending quotation. So once our XML is adequately formatted, we can go ahead and load it into the program. So what we'll do here is go back to our main, and you can see that we had a call to the UI interface load toolbar, toolbar 1. Well, instead of loading the toolbar on this line, we want to load the top menu. But it's going to be very similar. We're simply going to use the load top menu method, and we're going to name our top menu. Now, as long as this top menu 4TM file can be found either in the current directory or by searching dbpath, we will be able to load this top menu into our program. Now, it seems that our program did have a top menu in the form. So let's go over to the form for a minute, and let's just go ahead and delete this one. And we'll save that and rebuild. So now instead of the top menu being built as part of the form, it's going to be loaded separately at runtime. All right, we can see that we got an error on our XML, so let's bring up our top menu again and see if we can determine where the problem is in the XML. Looks like we somehow lost a bracket there, and that seems to look better. All right, so now we see our two toolbars as well as this top menu that we have built as part of the XML. It's bound to the actions just as a top menu would be. And you can see that our next and previous become enabled as they do on the toolbars as well. So now let's go ahead and instead of loading this at the interface, as we've done in our code, let's load this top menu at the form level. Now we can recognize where it's loaded by using that debug tree, the control right mouse click, and looking at our structure. We can see here that we have a toolbar and a top menu outside of the window and form. And so now what we want to do is take this top menu and load it as a part of the form node, just like this toolbar is here. Now in this code, we had gone ahead and loaded the toolbar at the form level, and so we can just continue on with this code that we have here. We've gotten a handle on the current window, the form of the current window, and then we loaded that toolbar. So now we can simply make a call to f.load.TopMenu and supply the name of our top menu, top menu 1. We rebuild and execute, and we can see that the top menu has loaded along with the one loaded at the interface level. So if we control right mouse click and take a look at our DOM tree structure, we see that we have a top menu here. We also have a top menu here nested as part of the form. So if we wanted to keep this as part of the form, we could simply comment out the load of the top menu to the interface level. Or in your situation, you may have a different piece of the top menu that's being loaded at the interface versus at the form level. So we'll just rebuild, and instead of loading it twice, now we're just going to load it the one time. And now it's a part of the form, and we know that by looking at the DOM tree structure and seeing within the form both the toolbar and a top menu.